In 2025, I'm aiming to simplify and minimize my filmmaking life. Minimize my workspace, smaller camera rigs, smaller lights, and even execute smaller video projects. I get in my head a lot about my YouTube videos, like they have to be these really big ideas. So in this video, I want to show you how I use this one tiny little light to do two different but very simple setups that you can try on your next projects. The light in question is my good old Godox ML60. I've been using it for about 4 years now. It's super tiny and it's awesome. I use it for personal projects, YouTube videos, and I've even traveled with it for interview work. It's about as bright as something like a SL60W or maybe even a 120D, but way smaller and pretty color accurate. So for this setup, we're going to need a couple other things in addition to the ML60. First, we'll need this Fresnel attachment. This is designed specifically for the ML series of lights, and we'll also need a fogger to add some haze. Keep in mind that any small light can be used for this setup, but I use the ML60 because it's what I have, and I definitely think that a Fresnel attachment is really helpful because it helps focus the light and it gives you a little bit more output from these smaller output lights. I set up the light just outside my bedroom window with the Fresnel attachment to flood the light and up the intensity. It's going to be replicating the sun because we're in Portland and sometimes the sun is hard to come by. Next, I'll simply add haze to my room and have my subject, aka my wife, positioned where I want her to be with shears on the window for diffusion. I added some negative fill to the shadow side for some extra contrast. So here's what the shot looks like with no lighting at all, and here's with the lighting added. So to break it down, one light is outside at 100% power with the Fresnel attachment, and there's shears on the windows. There's a bounce board to wrap the light around her face and some negative fill on the camera side to add contrast, and we also have some haze. So these shots can be kind of boring, but I feel like every filmmaker at some point has to do them. For this, we'll need a modifier to soften the light from the ML60. The one that I've been shilling for years is the Photech Soft Lighter. It really is the best. With small lights, it can be pretty hard to mount huge modifiers on them, but the Photech Soft Lighter is super lightweight and it easily creates a very pleasing soft light for interviews. Oh, and did I mention that this little light can be powered off of 2 Sony MPF batteries? That means it can be light and mobile as well. So for this setup, I kept it really simple. I just set up the ML60 on the same side that natural light was coming from, and I think this setup looks the best because it kind of looks weird when you put the light on the opposite end of where sunlight is coming in from. But to break this down, we have the softbox on camera right, and yes, I know the window is blown out, but who cares? We're just practicing here. Shears would have been really helpful, but I didn't have any that were big enough to fit that window. We have some negative fill on camera left, and we're shooting slightly into the shadow side of her face. Again, this was all shot on my GH5 with the Lumix 12-35 f2.8 lens, and I used it purposefully over my bigger and better cameras. There's a lot of times that I look at the comments on some lighting tutorial video, and there'll be a lot of beginners still under the assumption that it was the camera that made the footage look really good, but in reality, any camera from the last 10 years can look pretty good with proper lighting techniques. So I think that's all I have for you in this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.